Thank you very much, and I'm very pleased to be here today to speak about implementation of UPR recommendations as well as other human rights bodies. This is essential for UN Women, and also to thank those donors to the Trust Fund and to the efforts at country level. What we want is to bring those voices, especially the voices of women, and hear what their needs are, what the progress has been, and where we can continue working together. So with that, I would like to thank you for being in the panel today and share with you some of the thinking of UN Women and some country-level examples related to the implementation of recommendations of the UPR. In a world of interlocking crises and global challenges, UN Women is honored to be here, showing our commitment to our coordination, capacity building, and technical cooperation in the field of human rights, gender equality, and the empowerment of women and girls. As you know, UN Women just turned 15, and this is the definition of our mandate in the normative, in the coordination, and in the operation of human rights of women and girls. We welcome the report of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, as the UPR is a unique tool to promote women's rights and gender equality, exchange good practices and lessons learned, build constructive dialogue, and advance in implementation of recommendations and policies with a human rights-based approach. We aim to strengthen at UN Women gender equality and women's empowerment recommendations being given to states under review by developing advocacy brief papers highlighting the areas of improvement and suggesting recommendations. No one knows better the reality on the ground than our UN Women offices in 90 countries. UN Women's engagement in the UPR process is via a human rights-based approach, guided by the principle of leaving no one behind, as stipulated in our strategic plan 2022-2025. And our entity, with its normative, operational, and coordination mandate, is dedicated to gender equality and the empowerment of women with concrete actions at country level. Our normative mandate supports the member states and intergovernmental bodies in the formulation of policies with global standards and norms on gender equality as the benchmark. And we build upon already established international conventions like the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, the Beijing Platform for Action, whose 30th anniversary review will be held next year. And we work in partnership with other UN entities. We support national capacity development and the use of international norms and standards at country level, and in particular, those on women's rights and gender equality. UN Women promotes the engagement and collaboration with human rights mechanisms, including long-standing support for the implementation of the CEDAW Convention and engagement in the Universal Periodic Review. We are active by supporting governments to prepare their national reports, encouraging participation of civil society and other relevant stakeholders in dialogues for the preparation of the state report. We advocate with recommending states to submit advanced questions and prepare recommendations on women's human rights and gender equality issues, and we advocate for the acceptance of these recommendations. UN Women supports initiatives related to the implementation of the UPR throughout the cycle. So this work is regularly carried out in collaboration with other UN entities, for example, for developing tracking mechanisms for monitoring and implementation. Accountability is key with these mechanisms, encouraging and supporting the state to take stock of progress in the implementation and analyzing gender equality and women's empowerment related recommendations for each cycle. Our contributions to the report highlights our engagement and collaboration with other human rights mechanisms, including the CEDAW Committee, and we engage to strengthen the gender perspective, including supporting countries in reporting and preparation for the UPR. And some of the examples of our work. In Liberia, for example, UN Women supported capacity building initiatives for the government ministries and civil society organizations on human rights analysis and the preparation of the UPR national report, and also supported the government delegation in preparing for the presentation of the report. In Tanzania, UN Women supported 2 gender ministries, the mainland and in Zanzibar, in leading the development and finalization of Tanzania's 9th periodic CEDAW report. And since the UPR and the CEDAW national reports were being prepared simultaneously, CEDAW recommendations were aligned with gender-related UPR recommendations. This approach streamlined data collection, facilitated discussions, and leveraged the UPR mechanism for advocacy and engagement. In Brazil, we collaborated with the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights and the House of Representatives to streamline and conduct a gender analysis of the implementation of UPR recommendations in the country. In Ukraine, we supported the government and parliament tackling the intersectional discrimination encountered by Roma women and girls by leveraging and concluding observations from CEDAW, the CERD, alongside UPR recommendations. These tools helped us identify specific policy and legislative actions, such as increasing educational access for Roma women and boosting their participation in decision-making at national, subnational, and local levels. Our efforts supported the achievement of SDG 5, specifically in its goal of eliminating all forms of discrimination against women and girls, and upheld the principle of leaving no one behind. In Colombia, to encourage the parliament to adopt or amend legislation to implement UPR recommendations, we supported through our country offices and local offices, and have monitored legislative developments and analyzed parliamentary initiatives in the framework of its human rights agenda. A bulletin has been produced of legislative alerts regarding initiatives that may impact the rights of women in the country. We are also part of an alliance with the Office of the High Commissioner for Refugees, the Women's Refugee Commissions, to work on gender-related discrimination for nationality laws. There are 25 countries that where still women cannot pass their citizenship to their children. Imagine the impact of this for natural disasters, refugee crisis, conflict. And so we're working diligently with these countries to make sure that everyone has the same rights. To conclude, we encourage to increase women's meaningful participation in the process at all levels of decision-making, and UN Women celebrates a more gender-balanced delegation participating in the working group sessions of the UPR and the Human Rights Council as part of the fourth cycle that started in November of 2022. Overcoming the silos is also crucial to enhance technical cooperation. As recommended by the report, sustainable development and human rights are mutually integral to each other, and it's essential that partnerships and cooperation among UN system actors, international financial institutions, development partners, and other stakeholders can be enhanced. We will produce a report similar to the one launched last year with UNFPA, with the Universal Rights Group, to bring concrete level, country level examples and showcase them here in the Human Rights Council, an exercise that was also done with UNICEF and that has allowed also our stakeholders, our country offices, even our senior management to become much more engaged in this process. And we support a call for more sustained investment in the context of multilateral collaboration and implementation of the recommendations, which are crucial for the achievement of the SDGs, the Beijing +30 platform, and to leave no one behind. I thank you.